Okay, let's talk about one of the biggest headaches in AI right now, getting locked in. You know the drill, right? You find a great AI model, you build your entire business around it, and then you're stuck. So today we're going to dig into a solution to that exact problem, a platform called Amazon Bedrock, which is all about giving you options. I mean, this is the million-dollar question for pretty much every company out there. The pressure to jump into AI is massive, but picking just one platform, it feels like a huge, risky bet. What happens if a better, faster, or cheaper model comes out next year? That's really the core challenge. How do you innovate with AI right now without handcuffing yourself tomorrow? And to really get why this matters so much, you just have to look around. What we're seeing right now is nothing short of a full-blown generative AI arms race. Seriously, every major tech player is racing to push their AI tools out into the market, and that creates this enormous pressure to adopt something, anything, just to keep up. But trying to figure out the right path is complex, and let's be honest, it can get really expensive. It's so easy to make a wrong turn that costs you a ton. So how do you even begin to navigate all this chaos? Well, what you really need is a platform that doesn't force you to bet on a single winner. And that is exactly the problem Amazon Bedrock was built to solve. The easiest way to think about Amazon Bedrock is like a universal adapter, but for AI. It's a single place that brings together the best-in-class models from a whole bunch of different companies, but, and this is the magic part, it lets you access all of them through one single API. This means you can build your app once and then swap different AI brains in and out without having to rebuild everything from scratch. And the way it works is actually pretty straightforward. First, you connect to that one API, which basically opens the door to all these different models. Then, you get to pick and choose the perfect AI for whatever you're doing, whether that's writing marketing copy or generating images. And finally, you just integrate that model and roll out your app. It's that simple. Okay, so a single point of access sounds great, but what are the real tangible benefits of doing it this way? Let's get into the nitty-gritty of what makes this approach so powerful. The number one advantage, without a doubt, is flexibility. You're not just buying into Amazon's AI ecosystem. You're getting access to killer models from Anthropic, Cohere, Meta, Stability AI, the list goes on. This means you can use one model for, say, creative writing and a completely different one for complex data analysis, all from the same platform. You always get to pick the absolute best tool for the job. The second huge advantage is just how simple it is. And that's because it's built on a serverless architecture. Now, what does that actually mean for you? It means you don't have to worry about buying, setting up, or managing any servers, period. All that complicated back-end infrastructure is handled for you. And that translates directly into massive savings on both money and operational headaches. And the third advantage is absolutely critical: security. Look, if you're using your own private company data to fine-tune an AI model, Bedrock makes sure that data stays your data. It's all encrypted, and it is never, ever used to train the foundational models that other customers might use. Your trade secrets stay secret. And don't just take my word for it. Amazon Web Services puts it right out there, saying, none of the customer's data is used to train the underlying models. They make a direct promise that your data remains private and confidential. For any business worried about data security, that is a huge sigh of relief. So we've got the big three benefits down: flexibility, simplicity, and security. But what about the actual tools in the toolbox? Let's take a look at some of the specific models you can play with and what they're really good at. When you get into Bedrock, it's like walking into a supermarket of AI models. For instance, you've got Claude from Anthropic, which is fantastic for complex reasoning and building really natural conversational chatbots. Then for anything visual, you can fire up Stable Diffusion to generate some incredible high-quality images. And of course, for all-around text generation and summarization, you've got Amazon's own Titan family of models. Now, all this theory is one thing, but how does this actually come together in the real world? Let's check out a couple of practical use cases to see what Bedrock can really do. Here are two perfect examples. On one hand, you can build incredibly sophisticated virtual assistants. I'm talking about chatbots that can actually understand what users are asking for and have natural back-and-forth conversations to solve problems. And on the other hand, you can use it for creative generation, to whip up totally new content and personalize every user interaction to create a much more engaging experience. And that really brings the question back to you, doesn't it? If you had access to this kind of flexible, secure platform that puts all the best AI models right at your fingertips, what's the very first problem you'd want to solve? The possibilities are really something else.